Well, apparently the NFL refs need to go back to school. The investigation cleared Goodell. Shocking. And Jameis Winston is going to go pro. Probably because the NCAA was going to kick him out.
Welcome to the Steel City. Is everybody ready to go? This will play the greatest radio show.
Welcome, fans, to another weekly edition of the Friday Night Insight. I'm in studio with Johnny Parlay, back from his New Year's vacation last week, and Jay Dash, who is miserable as always.
Parlay's fired up. I'll tell you what. I'll address this supposed absence first of all. First of all, the Friday Night Insight tends to be recorded on a Friday.
Correct.
This past week, it was not recorded.
It was on a Thursday.
A Thursday, which was also a holiday. Parlay values his holidays, yo.
Hey, I hear you, man, but when I got to work at 2 to 9 the next day, there's no time to record and edit and post the Friday Night Insight.
Late night spread insight.
I work at 5:30 in the morning the next day, man.
Y'all think Parlay don't listen. Parlay hears all. He heard the smack talk from the producer, Jay Dash. He's heard the smack talk saying I didn't come. Hey,
I don't even remember what I said. What did I say?
Go check the tapes. Just hating on Parlay, saying, oh, he don't show up. He takes all the holidays off.
Yeah.
Please.
Jeez, I wish I got vacation days.
First of all, if there's one day I'm not showing up for work, it is the day after New Year's Eve night. New Year's Day, that would be. Usually I'm in bed most of that day. I was actually feeling pretty spry.
With one of your Johnny Parlay hangovers.
It's just,
blankets over the window, blankets over your head.
That's right, but
don't even answer your phone.
Didn't even need the blackout shades. Just wasn't feeling the trip over here. It was New Year's Day. Said I'm gonna start this year off right on the couch, and that's what I did.
Well, I started it out right with the fans who love the spread.
How was that? Were you partying with the fans, you mean?
No, I was recording so that they could hear the spread. They needed their fix.
Yeah, you're a hard worker. I'm surprised you were able to get up on the mic.
Yeah, it was rough. Easy complimented my poise on the mic that day because he thought I was going to be a mess. We had a long night.
Where is Easy?
Easy's being a little girl. He's at home. He should be here soon.
Well, get the Easy over here.
We'll get him up for the pick show. What do we got going here on our Friday Night Insight? Parlay, I know you love that pass interference call, non-call, / who knows if it was a call. Then they are only saying it was holding now, like after they apologized. It was god-awful. And can I, before you get to reply real quick, one thing I want to say is when owners do pills and get pulled over, they get fined. When players do drugs or break the policies, they get suspended, they get fined. Coaches do something wrong, they get suspended, they get fined. Refs make god-awful calls like they did, and nothing happens. Nothing.
It was
like, throw a flag on the ref, dude.
Insanity.
I don't know if you can compare the two, though. How are you comparing people doing drugs to bad calls on a football field?
Your job is to not do drugs, and your job is to get the call right. So if you don't get the call right, bam, $5,000 fine.
Yeah, but Mike Mitchell's job is not to miss tackles and blow coverage either.
Well, he's probably
Is he getting fined for blowing coverage?
He's probably blowing and blowing coverage, so he should be fined, and he should be kicked off the team because he's garbage, and I'd rather have Parlay out there on New Year's Day with his Parlay hangover.
That's right. I'm telling you, these refs, I mean, they might not have been doing drugs, but it seemed like it. They were seeing things that weren't there. Well, in this instance, they saw something was there and then decided it wasn't there. I have never, in my 30 years of watching football, heard the penalty announced and then it gets changed.
Yeah, picked up.
That's insanity.
They decided against it.
That was fishy, man. And I'm not one to say fix is in and none of that because I really don't believe that. But that was about as fishy as it gets, if you ask me.
Another thing is, why aren't NFL refs year-long employees? They're only employed through the season of the NFL, okay?
Seasonal, baby.
So these dudes have all this other stuff going on in their life. They're not dedicating as much time to the craft as the players and the coaches. And everything. They should be full-time employees, paid full-time for the year, so that in the off-season they should be working mock games, going to seminars, like doing things to make themselves better.
Ed Hockley
that
works at that
loses money
gym.
for the NFL.
Well,
The
you know
NFL
what?
don't want to do something that doesn't help them make money. They still make just as much money by blown calls on the field as they would with perfect calls on the field.
You're right, and it's frustrating as a fan that they don't care about the product that they're putting out there.
Ed Hockley, he works at that gym that True goes to in the off season. Actually, he was
LA
spotting,
Fitness.
Yeah, I saw him spotting True last weekend on his weekend off.
He
But
lost 10 pounds so far.
He's
did
on
you
a roll,
see?
man. He's on a roll. He got Ed Hockley as his personal trainer because Ed Hockley ain't making enough
I'm in here.
during a season.
I'm in studio eating brownies and drinking beer as I record, and I think I'm losing more weight than True did.
Hey, he's dedication.
He is working hard.
He's got
I'll
his
give it to
eye
him.
on the prize.
Eye of the tiger, like Rocky.
But that
He's
I
been
mean,
running up and down the steps in front of the studio for the last couple weeks. I guess that's probably why he's trying to get his cardio up.
He's going for it, going for the gold. But that flag was ridiculous, borderline fishy. I don't know what else to say.
Dallas is America's team. They want
That's
them to
it.
move on.
It was very. I mean, I would say that whole game was officiated very poorly. In the first half, Dallas was getting hosed. I felt like. Second half, it straight up turned around, and Detroit got beyond hosed. And that game, that lost them the game. There's no doubt about it. I'm sick of hearing all these people out there saying, you don't know what would have happened after that. Come on. Please. That was it. They had enough. They could have killed 2 more minutes off the clock. It was just all pointing to Detroit, and it was bogus. Straight up bogus. Another NFL, the fix is in. Same with this NFL FBI situation. The FBI clears the NFL. Imagine that.
Yeah, an organization that the NFL hired who had ties to the NFL previously has cleared the NFL of any wrongdoing. And for those folks who are not in studio, I used air quotes when I said cleared because it's garbage.
Insanity.
Absolute garbage.
It's the National Mafia League, as far as I'm concerned. It's fishy.
Why?
He probably burned the tapes before he watched them.
Probably
Destroyed them.
He burns
Just
all the
like
tapes
he-
from Spygate.
Exactly.
Now, maybe are these tapes like the notes Inspector Gadget used to get, where after you viewed them, they had like 3 seconds and they self-destructed?
Oh, yeah. It's like that new app where you can take the nudie pics of yourself, and then they just disappear from the internet.
Yeah, they disappear from the internet. Again, air quotes. They go into the cloud, and then somebody blasts you on the internet when you try to become a politician.
Yeah, that's why Parlay steers clear of that stuff. He ain't trying to be out there exposed and blackmailed.
No wiener pics a parlay out on the internet.
Hell no.
Nope, just pictures of you falling asleep on cab drivers.
Whatever. Hey, check the record.
We actually were talking to the cab driver about you when we were in, me and Easy, when we were in a cab on New Year's.
I'm a cab ride all-star.
It was a weird cab. There was only a back seat. Like, it was kind of looked like an SUV or a minivan type vehicle, and it just had one bench seat in the back that you probably could have squeezed 4 people into, but there was no front seat, and I just kind of leaned over and started laughing to Easy. I said, Parlay wouldn't even be able to ride in this taxi.
No.
There's no front seat.
I always
He likes to
sit
sit
gun.
up front
Always
and
sit
hang
gun.
out with the taxi driver.
I am a all-star when it comes to taxi rides.
The first time I was in a taxi with you, you started talking to the dude. I said something, and our buddy Mark just looks at us and goes, I don't think Jim's ever been in a taxi with John before.
I love it, people. I thrive. Uber. Pick me up in your Uber cab, Uber.
That's right.
Follow
Uber.
us.
Follow us on Twitter at bet_the_spread.
That's right. Well, let's get back to the Steeler game. I know this is a stupid argument. I'd like to see if anyone out there actually would second this opinion that Gradkowski should have stayed in. He was on a roll. He had a couple completions in a row. He was in the red zone, and then Ben comes in, 1 pass, and a pick. You got to put Ben back in, right?
I'm 50-50 on it. What about you, Dash?
I would say, yeah, you want to put Ben back in, but maybe not right at that point. Gradkowski was moving the ball there. We weren't scoring many points. Something was finally happening with this offense. Let him score the touchdown there and then bring Ben back in the next series of downs.
I think it's all hindsight. Obviously, if
yeah.
Gradkowski would have thrown that pick, the argument would have been 100%
Right.
the other way. But
Which
I think you got to put Ben in if he's back and he's seeing straight.
But was he seeing straight? That pick looked
He
like
only had whiplash.
It-
There's those air quotes again.
Yeah.
Yeah, they had that NFL FBI doctor looking at him for the Steelers.
I could go either way on it. I don't mind that they put him in, and I wouldn't have minded if they left Gradkowski in, because just like Parlay said, if they left Gradkowski in, he throws the pick, everybody says it should have been Ben. They put Ben in there, he threw the pick, everybody's going to clamor for Gradkowski. He was moving the ball real well, like Dash said, going down the field. I think he might have only had 1 incompletion. Personally, I probably would have done what Dash said, let him finish that drive. If the Steelers scored after the kickoff, next time the offense got the ball, that's when I would have put Ben back in. He was clearly dazed. He blasted his head off the ground.
Yep, that's Ben though. I mean, he's always dazed. He's always getting hit, always getting beat up. But either way, it just wasn't meant to be. I don't think that game. That game never really looked that promising. It always sort of scary throughout the whole game.
Yeah, if you really look at it, if Gronkowski would have scored there, so what? We still would have lost the game anyways.
It looked that way for sure, unless we had those officials that were in the officiating Dallas-Detroit game.
You know what they should have done is put Gronkowski in at free safety.
Oh yeah,
And play some Mike Mitchell.
Yeah.
Definite improvement. But I don't know. That's it for your football season, guys. I'm sorry. I mean, I guess you guys. Who you pulling for now?
It's hard to say. I don't like any of these teams. I don't want anybody to win. You want Baltimore to get a Super Bowl ring, then Joe Flacco's an automatic Hall of Famer, according to Jim Sella.
I took Denver as my Super Bowl pick, so as long as they're still in it, I got to go with Denver.
I think you have them versus Dallas as well, correct?
Denver versus Dallas. I'm still in it.
Well, there was hating on Parlay also last week, because I guess if I don't show up, I get hated on for my beat Super Bowl pick. And I don't know. I still have a dog in a fight. I got Denver winning it also, so don't count me out yet.
You just got the other side of it wrong.
Well,
yeah, Jim, you're the only one with both picks left.
Only one to go 5-0 twice in the pick show this year.
write it down, folks, because everyone cares.
You know,
everyone cares.
That actually means you went 28-44 over the other picks.
Well,
I had
a rough beginning of the season.
2 5-0s and then a 28-44 for the rest of the picks.
I had a rough beginning of the season, man.
Well,
it's great.
We're going to be there for the people next year. We're going to cash out big time next year.
85% winning percentage next year. I'm calling it right now.
Maybe we'll have to
Picking
make
Indy every week.
I'm going to have to make some baseball picks of the week here starting soon. It's almost that time of the year.
Picking against the Pirates every week.
We gotta have to put down a run line or something then, because can't just pick Pirates to lose.
Because I'll win all the time.
How dare you? You're not going to win 50% of the time because they will finish over 500 again. You heard it, baby. But I don't know. No Buccos went in the Hall of Fame this year, but a couple
there hasn't
respectable
been a
guys
Bucco
did.
good enough to get in the Hall of Fame since '79, probably.
I think one should have been in.
Who, Brian Giles?
Barry Bonds, man.
Oh, well, yeah, I'm sorry. I forgot about Barry.
That's
Barry
right,
Lamar.
but I don't see that in his future.
It's
It's
garbage.
terrible to me. This Hall
Everybody
of Fame
was
class,
on steroids.
Yeah,
Jack Wilson was on steroids. That's why he had a beaver face.
What
So-
4 players made the Hall of Fame? They're all good players.
Yeah,
With
we're looking
Randy
at
Johnson, Pedro Martinez,
Craig Biggio.
and John Smoltz.
Yeah, those are for
But Barry Bonds is the best player I've ever seen.
Yeah, Barry Bonds
He
is
needs
the
to be in the
truth.
Hall of Fame no matter how big his head got.
Barry Bonds is the Hall of Fame.
Well, I know that our fantasy champ J Mad Money Payne is a big Barry Bow fan, but if I had a vote, I'd be going no.
No.
I'm a big Gary Sheffield fan, and he got
Everybody did
exactly
steroids.
0 votes.
How can you say no? It doesn't matter. Ty Cobb was a racist and a wife beater. Babe Ruth was a wife beater. Every generation had its dark cloud. Just because they did steroids, I don't think that changes anything.
And I think there's already people that did steroids in the Hall of Fame.
Believe it. The Steelers of the 70s all did steroids, and we celebrate them like they're one of the best teams in pro sports history.
They
Well,
are.
I think,
agree, because I don't give a crap if they do steroids. If you want to kill yourself for my entertainment, that's cool with me, dude. I ain't telling you to do them, but if you want to do them, go ahead.
Well, it doesn't get much more blatant though than Barry Bonds. Dude went from being a beanpole to being Hercules, and it was just
CGI,
so
man.
dramatic.
He was still a beast before he blew up,
It
though.
was CGI.
Well, abusing your spouse, that's not going to help you get into the Hall of Fame or anything. That doesn't help you be a better ball player, unless you're hitting her with a bat, I guess. But you can hate on people for being alcoholics, domestic abusers, but when it comes to baseball, you're cheating if you're using.
You're cheating if you're using it in any sport, and every sport uses. So
Well,
every
then
sport
just
cheats.
legalize it all.
Why
I want to
not?
see these crazy animals, huge dudes, just pounding the hell out of each other.
Well, listen, here's a crazy question for you. If they made a movie about Barry Bonds, what 2 actors would you
Yeah.
pick to play him? Because I would say Dave Chappelle for the early years, and then The Rock for the later years whenever he does steroids.
That's not bad. I'll go Steve Urkel and B.A. Baracus. Is that his name? The dude from A-Team?
A young Wesley Snipes
Yeah.
would have been good.
No, he's too big to be a young Barry Bow.
Yeah.
We're saying Steve Urkel is a young Barry Bonds, and Mr. T,
Mr. T.
As
Pity
the
the
roided
fool.
up.
Pity the fool who does
But
steroids.
It's all alleged. I don't think Bonds will ever see his day in the Hall.
Allegedly.
If you're gonna let Bonds in, you best let that legend Pete Rose in, because there's a ball player right there. Follow us, Pete Rose.
I think it's garbage that Pete Rose isn't in. Yeah, follow us. Bet_the spread, Rose.
You know he's betting, so he might found us already if he typed in bet.
Google bet and the spread comes up.
What about Jerome Bettis and Kevin Green making it as finalists for the Hall of Fame in football? You agree with that?
For Steelers Hall of Fame? Or
No, Pro Football Hall of
Straight
Fame.
up?
Yeah.
Well, Kevin Green is something like 4th all time in sacks.
Yeah, he's the most sacks as a linebacker.
And Jerome Bettis, obviously, I definitely think he should be in the Hall of Fame. There's no reason why he shouldn't. What? Because he has a 3.9 per carry
I was just going to say that's probably the only stat working against him, but he carried our offense for the entire time he was here. He was good. He was better than good for the couple years that he was in St. Louis. He's a model citizen.
That
He was
don't count.
a great teammate. I mean, what else can you say about it? He's a crappy TV guy, but he was a great football player.
These guys both first balloters. This is the first time they've been on the ballot.
No, they
Bettis
were
has
both
been
on
there.
it last year.
No stank. Well, I don't know. You got to get Green in there. There's no excuse for him. I don't know. I could see the Bettis not being in argument, though. I mean, I know you guys got your black and gold glasses on, as always, this week.
When he
was such
retired,
a
he was
beast.
5th in all time in rushing, dude.
All right, well, you putting him in, then you best put Mike Allstott in, too, then. I mean,
Mike Allstott's
Oh,
not
man.
5th all time in
Come
rushing,
on.
dude. It's totally different. He's like
yeah, Jerome
50th.
Bettis is 5th in rushing is like your number 1 in picks. He's got about 50,000 carries and about 50,001 yards.
Well, yeah, but because that shows durability.
Especially
I mean,
at
how
the
many
running
other
back
backs?
position,
Yeah,
too.
they make it 3 years and they're dead. This guy carried this team for 10 years.
Hey, I'm not saying I love the bus. I'm a huge bus fan, but I think the Hall of Fame needs to have some pretty. It's got to be an honor. It's turning into just mediocrity.
Well, I think if there's people who are in there who are ranked 9th or 12th or 15th on the list in rushing, and he's
depends.
5th and he don't get in,
I
that's
think it
bogus.
depends what they are when they go in. These people that are 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th, what you were saying, could have been 4th at the time they went in. You know
Right,
what I mean?
but I mean that's
But
what
yeah,
Bettis is now.
Exactly. That's why I believe he deserves to get in.
Well, if you don't get in soon, I don't think it's happening.
He may not
Yeah.
get in this year, but he's going to get in a weak year. As long as you have a certain percentage of the votes, you stay in it for.
Well, it's going to start
A
getting
while. I
tougher
forget
and
how long
tougher
it
with
is.
all this offensive biased ruling because everyone's stats are going to be blowing up here lately, and it's just going to be tougher and tougher for the older guys that deserve it.
The
The
one good
defensive
thing
player-
is that running back. There aren't many running backs that last a long time now. So in a few years, you're going to see Jerome Bettis there and no other running backs because no running backs deserve it anymore. Really, who is out there? That's
right.
Adrian Peterson. He's already done. It looks like.
Yes.
What about Eddie George? You guys think he's a Hall of Famer?
He
He was
wasn't
a good
around
running
long
back.
enough, I don't think.
If Bettis isn't in, Eddie George doesn't deserve to get in.
I agree
agree.
with that. I
It's
agree
Curtis
with that.
Martin just got in, right?
Curtis Martin deserves to be in.
No
for
doubt. No doubt. All this split
Well,
time.
he's only one spot ahead of Bettis in the rushing in
Yeah.
career
Sure.
yards.
And he's from Alderdice.
Like Jay Jash said, it's going to get tougher and tougher for running backs because they're all splitting time. They're all getting their goal line taken away, their goal line carries taken away. But I mean, speaking of future Hall of Famers, did you hear about Johnny Manziel this weekend?
What is he, for the Hall of Fame of douchebags?
Hey, man, he's going to be a champ.
He's garbage. How can you say he's going to be a
Why
champ?
do you love Cleveland quarterbacks so much?
I just love the Browns people. You hear that? Parlay's a Browns fan.
Ever since that time we went there, you fell in love with them.
I mean, hey,
They're hot cocoa.
I got to confront in the bathroom, and they said, "Listen, fool, don't you dare talk smack on the Browns again. We're gonna make your life a living hell."
Love the Browns or die.
So
I do
signed
like
a
their uniforms.
I do too. They're classic.
Stupidest uniforms ever.
No, I'm truly not a Browns fan, so don't stop listening there. T-Lat, Spinnerman, Eddie Bott. Believe me, I ain't a Browns fan, but I think that Manziel. No, I don't think he's a Hall of Famer. Hell no. I don't even think he'll be in the league in 2 years. He's a Tebow.
He's garbage.
But Hoyer is the truth.
I think Manziel will get a lot more chances than Tim Tebow did.
Yeah, Manziel will. Tebow had a bias against him coming out of college because he really couldn't even throw the ball at all in college. Manziel's a little better. Not that he's good. He's no Steve Young. I consider Manziel closer to Vince Young.
Well, I really just brought him up because he got a drink thrown on
Yeah,
him
he's
this
garbage.
weekend. I thought maybe he was hanging out with you guys on New Year's Eve or something, the way he described his night.
If I ran into Manziel, I would have been the one throwing a drink in his face because he's a grade A douche.
Well, I wouldn't have been surprised if he'd have been at the same sort of establishment you guys were at. His head ain't straight, but
he needs to eat a Snickers.
Yeah, he needs to eat his stickers. He's a diva, but
I don't even think he's going to be in Cleveland in 2 years, even if he's still in the league. I think he's going to wear out his welcome up there. They're not a city who deals with that kind of crap. They're not Dallas.
Someone will, though.
Somebody will, yeah. They're going to keep taking a chance on him. He'll last 5 to 7 years, I'd say, bouncing around, in and out of lineups.
Well, who do you think is going to have the balls to take Jameis Winston? I would not take that dude in 30th pick. I'm telling you, I'm not even joking. I had 30th pick and he was around.
Honestly,
I'm not taking him.
I wouldn't take Mariota, so there's no way in hell I would take Winston.
You know, Mariota's the only player in college football history to have 50 more touchdowns than turnovers.
Well, they play video game football up there, and they don't play. The defenses in college are just a joke. I can't stand watching Oregon play. It's just they run up to the line, shotgun, spread offense, fake handoff, go deep. It's just no wonder he's got so many passing touchdowns, so many passing yards. It's a video game school.
Well, Dash, you think Winston's better than Mariota?
No, definitely not. That's what I was saying.
No way.
If I'm not taking Mariota, there's no way in hell I'm taking Winston.
Well,
why is it?
A lot of people think Winston's a more polished quarterback than Mariota, and that he can read his progressions better and he has better accuracy. Mariota's a little bit more explosive because he's a little more mobile. Maybe not running the ball, but at least moving around to make a play. Winston, he only lost one game in college, that bowl game where he played the worst game of his whole career.
I would just like to see some teams start drafting on merit. This guy's going to be a troublemaker. He's already a troublemaker. I'd just like to see one team step up and be like, we're not taking him because of his off-the-field attitude.
I would wholeheartedly agree with you if he was 25 years old and had been in the NFL for a while and he's a young kid. Is he really a bad, maybe not a bad person, but got his head screwed on the wrong way? Or does he have the wrong people around him? Is Florida State not, keeping their eye on him, crowning him? And I know you shouldn't have to coddle these kids, and they should be smart enough.
Not like the NFL has role models.
But I mean, you go to certain teams. If you have a coach like a Tony Dungy or somebody who wants to be a, well, I don't put Tomlin anywhere near Dungy's caliber.
No way.
But these guys can mentor these young players and turn them around. I don't know if I'm not saying Winston's a surefire, number one pick. I'm not saying I would take him if I had the number one pick, but I think he's the best quarterback coming out of the draft this year. He's the most polished, and if you get him with the right people in the right system, he has the potential to have success in the NFL and a lot.
I don't know, man. If I got a rape accusation against me, I think that would scare me straight. Apparently that didn't scare him straight at all. He's a narcissist.
Ben Roethlisberger into
marriage. That's scary, man. That's how scared Ben was. He got married.
How many good quarterbacks are in the NFL besides Andrew Luck that have come out recently?
You guys like Russell Wilson.
Yeah, Russell Wilson.
Cam Newton
came out
3 or 4 years removed.
Okay, so you got Wilson. We'll give it to Newton too. What about Andy Dalton? He's made it to the playoffs.
I don't.
No.
He's made for the playoffs?
He made it to the playoffs.
Oh, he made it to the playoffs. He can't win in the playoffs.
All right, well, what about Colin Kaepernick? He went to the Super Bowl.
Fluke.
No?
No.
But what about,
I'm just saying, there's hardly any good quarterbacks that come out there, and they always get drafted first or second, and they're not worth it. And I really don't believe these guys are as good as Cam Newton or Russell Wilson. I'm sorry. So I would steer clear of these guys and go with something else.
No way. I think that Blake Bortles, he's the truth for sure. He had not a great rookie year, but he didn't do terrible. I think and look what he's working with. I think that dude is quality.
Yeah, we'll have to see. He could still be a good quarterback.
I just
got to see it first.
I think part of why Winston came out is all the NCAA allegations against him.
Yeah, I'd have gone out too.
He needed to get out of there before he got kicked out of school. It would have made him look bad. He got a first-round grade by an NFL scout. He's going to go for it. He's going to go for anything that he can get.
Troublemaker, man. You got to keep your nose clean. And that, like I said, if you beat a rape charge, I know he wasn't even charged formally or anything, but that should be enough to scare you straight to at least not go steal crab legs.
He took
Jeez.
Ben 2 times.
Well, you want to talk about a troublemaker? Let's talk about Todd Haley. He's blowing up, not literally blowing up, but blowing up people's houses. He's a horrible person. He's just a terrible
like him as a
offensive
coach.
coordinator.
The most important thing is I think he's a bad coach.
Yeah, he's a bad offensive coordinator. The offense got yards. Everybody could say Ben had a career year. Stats. The point is, we didn't score points consistent enough. We didn't come out to play every week. When our defense struggles the way it did, we can't struggle if you're this great offense. And to bring Haley back is just ungodly.
Well, who makes that decision? The GM?
The GM and Tomlin together.
way-
And the president.
The way I see it is we got a lot of yards because we have some of the best players in the NFL in Ben, Brown, and Bell. And the reason we can't score points is because our offensive coordinator sucks.
Well, someone saw something they liked, and I don't know. I guess if you're a Pittsburgh landlord, just don't rent Todd Haley.
Don't rent Haley.
Is the moral of the story there.
And if you're a football team, don't hire him as a coach.
Yeah, it's a surprising move, but like I said, someone saw something they liked.
It's all a smokescreen, man. All those yards make him look like he's a good coach, but it's not true.
Nope, he should be playing golf at the Madison Golf Course.
I already said this a few times. If you go look at the Steelers, they scored, 436 points this season, and they give it all to the offense, and it's just not true. Todd Haley does not score that many points.
Todd Haley is garbage in every facet of life.
Straight up garbage. Unlike my pick of the week, that ain't garbage last week. I helped out people out. I took an underdog, the Detroit Lions, and not only should have they won the game, but they most certainly covered the spread. I'll give you another good one here for the pick of the week. Parlay's going Dallas, so I apologize to anyone in Dallas. I think I just cursed their season. This is a tricky one. They're going up to Green Bay. I don't think they're going to have too much of a shot to win. They're getting 5. I think it should be more like 6.5. I just feel like they're sort of...
So wait, you think they should get more points, but they're going to win anyways?
I mean, cover.
Right.
I just think they sort of destined, it seems like, this year. They might win that game. I don't know.
They're destined because the refs suck is what we're saying.
Well, if they go with that same crew and they take them up there, then yeah, they're on easy street. I'll tell you what. It certainly doesn't bode well for them if you look at everything. It's going to be freezing cold. Green Bay's pretty unstoppable at Lambeau. It's my pick of the week. Sorry, Dallas fans. I mean, I went against you last week and I was right, but they still won. So I don't know. Maybe they'll lose and cover. I don't know. Sorry, Dallas, but I'm going with you.
I got to go against you. My pick of the week is Green Bay at -5. Green Bay has been blowing out everybody at home this season. Yeah, Aaron Rodgers looks like he's not 100% healthy.
He has a torn calf.
And Dallas is 8-0 on the road this season, so that is good for you. But I just Green Bay at home is so hard to beat.
We're going
this
5.
time of the season.
Are we going to stick with 5? That's going to move, I'm sure, but
Yeah.
5 sounds good.
For now, it's 5, but just so everybody knows, this isn't recorded on Sunday, so these lines can change at any time during the week.
But if there's a holiday, apparently it's recorded on a Thursday, and
Believe
Parlay
it.
gets blasted for not showing up for work.
That's right.
I want my time and a half. That means a beer and a half instead of my only one.
I'll do that. Well, I got the New England Patriots. As much as I hate to say it, I hate Baltimore even more. I'm going to take New England over teaser for my pick of the week. That moves it from -7 to even and from 48 to 43. The Patriots are great at home. They don't really lose at home a lot. They're struggling in the playoffs the last couple years. They actually have a losing record over the last 2 or 3 seasons in the playoffs, even at home, I'm pretty sure. Everybody keeps talking about this vaunted Baltimore pass rush. I think they just had the Steelers' game plan down. I don't think their pass rush is as good as it really was in that game. A divisional game between Pittsburgh and Baltimore is different than a game between Baltimore and New England. Tom Brady is worlds better than Joe Flacco, and I know we said that about Ben Roethlisberger, but, I mean, come on. As much as I love Ben, Brady's better than Ben, too. It's all New England all day. They're going to crush Baltimore.
That's another tricky one, I think. I hear you on the tease, though. 7 makes it tricky. A pick doesn't make it so tricky. I mean, I've heard all week about all these analysts saying, oh, Baltimore plays great against New England. New England's tough, and New England in the playoffs doesn't cover. I'm feeling New England also, so I'm sorry to curse you there, Jim
Especially at even.
here. But, I mean, as far as pick of the weeks, my playoff edition, I'll be 2-0, I think, after this week. What was your pick of the week last week, Jim?
Pittsburgh, and they lost, so we're not going to talk about it.
0-1.
I took Indy. I won that.
So
Nobody
me and Jay
cares.
Dash are 1-0 for the playoffs.
I'm
We're-
actually 8-2 overall in picks of the week.
Whoop-diddy-doo!
Yeah, whip did he do? I should have put $1,000 on each of those. That'd be up
for
huge.
the people. For the people is Jay Dash. I was gonna go Baltimore last week, but I went with under and it pushed. But I didn't want to pick Baltimore. I didn't want to lose my job here at the spread by picking Baltimore.
Yeah, you can't do that.
It's in the contract, man. You can't do it.
Can't pick against the Steelers in the playoffs. That's not allowed.
Well, the playoffs are here and they're in full effect, baby.
Yeah, and I'm not too excited about it because the Steelers are beat nuts.
It was a
It was a good year for Pittsburgh, but didn't end the way we wanted it.
well, if you want to think about, you got to dry your tears with anything, get your terrible towel out, dry your tears, and listen to the off-season show that we're going to be doing here later this evening.
Yeah, we got a Steelers off-season preview coming up. We got another pick show coming up. Always listen to all our shows. Don't just listen to one. You got to be entertained for hours out of the day, not just 20 minutes. Thank you guys for coming in studio. Parlay coming back to work. We remodeled the studio a little bit. I'm surprised you figured out where to sit. I want to thank you fans for listening. You can follow us on Twitter at bet_the_spread. Like us on Facebook. Subscribe to that YouTube channel. Click on that thumbs up, homie.